Yo, what's up, everybody? Got a big Group A matchup here between two teams vying for playoff position. Here we have uh, Freebrax and Scorch. Freebrax looking to improve their record and make a big push towards playoffs, and Scorch in the middle of this Group A looking to do the same thing here. And we, unbeknownst to me, already started into the draft here. So, um, getting a little ahead of ourselves. So, looking at the draft here, we've got some pretty staple bands. This blank band over here is Victor, so Scorch getting rid of Amumu Victor Leona, while Freebrax is getting rid of Ash, Cassante, and of course Calico. The support for Scorch is Zillion. She always loves playing that and is very deadly on that champion too. So, Freebrax getting the blind Camille here, but Ares ends up counterpicking it with the Renekton. And then Rusty on his patented Poppy. Anybody who's seen Rusty play knows he's an absolute monster on that Poppy. Even my team was on the receiving end of that one. And then you see Melio Caitlyn come out, and then Nami come out as well. So we're going through this draft fairly quickly here. So let's see. We've got asymmetric picks up in the sense of Scorch has jungle picked, Freebrax has ADC picked, so we'll see Tim's Ari getting banned away. We'll see some junglers from getting banned away from Kellen as well here in the Skarner and Nocturne. And then Boonstra's Ezreal looks like it might get taken out as well. Boonstra, kind of one of those 80 carries that's cool with playing anything, even mages. So Boonstra is a very versatile player overall here. So we'll see. Okay, context is in the chat. They were picking on Big B to he said he could play a champion, picked it, and then had to read the context, had to read the tooltips, and it was Acel. But that Acel's actually getting locked in here. Interesting. This might. I gotta pull. Let me pull up the form real quick. This might be the first Acel of the split. Second. It's just not something we see that often. And honestly, like picking Syndra into it, Syndra's. If you can get ahead, Syndra's okay. But if you just go lane for lane, even for even, Acel's actually like okay with the Syndra matchup. And you see Sejuani coming out. Sejuani with only one other melee is kind of a little bit of a feels bad. But let me see. Acel. Acel has not shown up, picked, or banned this split. So our first Acel of the split. Quite interesting. And then a Zed coming out here. Is this Acel bot lane? This is actually might be Boonstra on this Acel here. Okay. I've heard of tears of some Acel bot lane with an Enchanter running amok in solo queue, so this could be interesting here. Let's see. Acel into Melio Caitlyn. Is quite interesting. So So this is going to be quite an interesting game here. As I mean, Caitlyn does decent early, but very quickly gets outscaled by Mage's bot lane. You got Poppy, Renekton protecting this A-Soul. The only thing I think that's a little weird is the Zed pick. If Zed can get ahead and threaten the backline enough, then Zed's okay. But overall, this Zed into stuff like Sejuani Milio could be very hard to operate here. So I'm very curious to see where this one is going, or how this is going to be played. Also, Zed is not a champion I'd associate with Tim, as he's always been a really solid like mage player. I think this top lane matchup's actually going to kind of make or break. If this Camille can get ahead and win the split, then when A-Soul threatens like a side lane to like counter push it away from Camille, she just dives on and kills him. It's going to be very hard here, because that's the only real option for Team Scorch to like delay a push here. Because if you had A-Soul plus like another mage mid, you know, you have an overabundance of wave clear, so if you're behind, it's just enough to keep them at arm's range. But if this A-Soul gets behind, or Camille, Syndra get ahead, then it's going to be really hard to play into their comp, and to walk in the fog of war when you have stuff like Sejuani, Syndra, Caitlyn traps. It's going to be very hard to approach. So this is going to be a very interesting game to sit back and watch here. Yeah. Boy, I'm actually super excited. A-Soul is one of my favorite champs. It's too bad Riot gave him the friggin' nerf bat, yet has no issues buffing shit like Victor. So, I really don't think... I'm trying to think as the A-Soul, like, playing out these team fights... You get Sejuani Camille and move forward. They're just asking to get A-Soul ulted. I think if A-Soul reacts and flies into a fight, he could definitely get fired down. But I think if they wait for the engage to come into them, I think the A-Soul actually puts up a really good fight here. The big wild card's gonna be this Zed. I just don't know if this Zed can do a lot by himself. If he can, then obviously Zed runs the map. Everybody's been on the receiving end of a Zed OTP and solo queue that just absolutely dumpsters the whole map. But if he doesn't get far enough ahead, I don't think he breaks through Milio shields and heals and stuff like that. He doesn't beat Camille on the side lane. I almost feel like if this Zed might have been maybe a Jace, a Yone. Like, I think Yone goes super hard here. Syndra can can defend herself against Yone to a degree. Oh, this is going to be a very, very fun game to watch. I'd like to also give these two teams like a boatload of credit. They actually started on time. I don't know why, but when I cast a series, it seems like there's always a 5 to 10 minute wait. So, let's see, anything weird? Rune-wise, not really. I think you could have taken Resolve secondary on A-Soul, but I respect the inspiration. Camille Resolve, Sejuani, Poppy, Grasp is interesting. Syndra Electrocute seems okay. Tim, First Strike, quite interesting. No Ignite. So, let's see if Zed can play the game against Camille in a side lane, since they're both looking to TP. So, this is going to be a very, very fun game. I love this. Zoom out here just a little.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Tier start for Boonstra. Okay, interesting. So I can see, yes, Seraphs makes sense here. That doesn't get poked off as easily, and can help you against Syndra Burst and Camille Burst. Tim also bringing in the D-Blade. Big B getting a couple of mana flow stacks. Poppy looking to get a deep ward in here.
Minions have spawned.
So Kellen pathing away from this A-Soul lane is interesting. Nice juke by Tim on the first Q. Get some Dark Harvest First Strike proc there. I think for 1v1 purposes, this top lane matchup is going to be quite interesting. I think if Ares can get the the wave 3 push into a cheater recall reset, then he can dodge the Sejuani gank here. Bot lane, this is kind of going to be what happens there for a little bit. A-Soul starting Q, quite interesting in the double ranged. Can't say that I really 100% agree with that. But either way, I think it's still like decent. Ooh, nice headshot onto the A-Soul here. Nice stun here by Big B. Himself another stack here. Nice trade by Ares overall there. Nice first strike proc coming out by Tim. Alright, Ares got the wave pushing back to him here at the 3-minute mark. He doesn't, he sees that Shishwani got done with the Scuttle Crab here, so good on them to get a ward. See a potential gank coming in here onto Tim. Nice juke there. Poppy coming down here. We've seen Rusty do this a lot of times coming around this brush. See Boonstra flying through here, getting the flash out of Squirrel. So, problem is this lane's not in the greatest state for Boonstra, but it is Acel, so he can correct a lane pretty easily with that E. Kind of curious to see what this first back here by Acel is going to be overall. Because I feel like if he wants to get push here, he can go Faded Ashes early, and he can already start the one-shot the back line with 2 points in E. But I don't know if he would go for the Saris. I don't think he needs a Saris early. I think he goes something like Blackfire, like Faded into Blackfire. I think would be really, really cool for him. Oh, well, we see an all-in coming in from Tim. And gets the flash out of Big B Syndra here. We see Ares going forward here. He waited out the shield from Camille. Kellen uses that opportunity, though, to get the dragon here. So Infernal Dragon's actually super big for people to get a lot of like offensive stats like Syndra. Her passive at max ranks already amplifies her AP, and then you got the Infernal on top of that. But we see Rusty using this opportunity to get the grubs here. So getting the grubs away from Syndra, I actually think is a slightly better win. We'll see if Rusty starts to come down after this grubs. There is a chance with no flash that he could gank this Syndra here. Like flash over the wall, potentially stun him. Look for an all-in. Ares doing his best to try to trade out here. But nice stun onto Tim, so there's no follow-up there. Let's see where we're at. Acel stacks is 22, so not the biggest amount of stacks. But Acel being behind on stacks is actually like okay. He does a really good job of making up those stacks in the mid game, especially with a couple of really good timely landed ults. So it looks like Kellen may try to go for a gank here. Oh, nice overall catch for Kellen here, and he ends up getting the first blood with the help of Big B here. So first blood going over to Sejuani is really, really nice. Ares just kind of getting the better part of these extended trades in lane. Because neither top lane is backed yet. Actually, yeah, they both got a recall in. My apologies.
Target marked. Immaculate.
And Calico ends up blocking that Caitlyn ult there. But here comes Rusty Crow here, and Tim ends up getting the Zed ult down. And Tim has to end up flashing forward to get the last of Big B's health here. So there's one coming up here for Zed. This is not the champion you want to start getting ahead here, but we'll see. I think there's a world Zed could actually go like MR Boots, Dirk, and have a really solid laning fleas against Big B. And he ends up getting a plate, which is actually super massive for him. We see Camille ends up getting another recall here, and Ares. So, but let's see, Ares ends up all-inning Camille. Let's see what happens here. I think when Ares' E comes back up, he's gonna flash. Oh, but nice flash here by Camille to get away. So, flash for flash up in the top lane. Neither top lane having summoners now, but Renekton definitely has the lane in his favor here. With that first blood money, you see Kellen already having first item here on the Zeke's Convergence. You see Milio coming here mid lane. I think, yeah, trying to push this in. But you see Calico and Rusty sitting in this brush here. See how this goes. And we see a fight here mid lane as they're going all in on this Milio after Zed ulted Big B. So, oh, Rusty tried to pin him against the wall here. See, Big B's ult's down. But with enough residual damage here, Rusty's kind of out of this fight. See what happens. But we got Kellen end up coming forward here. But we see Rusty ends up knocking away Kellen. Aesol ult comes out here. And we see a lot of trading of cooldowns and ults here. And no one ends up falling here. So at the 12-minute mark here, we're even on kills with Scorch being ahead by about 700 gold. Big B, or not Big B, Boonstra still has the teleport here. If they look at this grub fight here. I do like the Faded Ashes coming out of Boonstra. I think at some point in time he's going to be able to like outpush this lane, especially even 2v1. But Scorch, knowing that they've got the first set of grubs here, ends up saying, okay, you know, Freebrax, you can have these grubs. We're going to take this dragon here. And this is actually a mountain drake, which I think is pretty big for the most part. Not only taking the mountain drake away from Sejuani, whose passive amplifies its stats quite a bit, but also knowing that some of these items may be defensive coming out of Zed, Renekton, Poppy. So tank stats are going to be amplified a little bit more too. Oh, we see Tim ends up using the Zed ult to get out of the Syndra ult. So both mid laners trading some cooldowns, trading ults here, respectfully. See what ends up happening here. Oh, but Deeg ends up coming up when Zed tries to push the lane and just ults Zed. So Tim ends up going down here, giving one over the Deeg. We see the bot lane of Scorch trying to make something work here, and Rusty ends up getting this kill. They caught Deeg out while he was coming back down the bot lane. And we do see the Blackfire Torch coming out from Boonstra here, so definitely think that's the best build so far.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Now let's double check. Aesol, 88 stacks. Again, not the greatest, but not the worst. Syndra on 62 stacks, so both these ticking time bombs are scaling decent. Be curious to see where this big ult for Aesol is going to come into play here. So you see he kind of pinged it as he's about 75% of the way there to his big ult. We see the nullifying cloak coming out here by Zed, so it looks like he's definitely going to either go Hex Drink or like MR Boots. I think we got out of this laning phase really well for Freebrax, not giving over too much snowballing to the Zed or the Renekton here. Both top laners, while Renekton does have a little bit of CS lead, overall hasn't gotten any kills. You know, they're both spiking on the similar items here. We see a shutdown coming over here to the side of Hunky after he got turret dove here. But we see also bot lane as Tim ends up TPing down here. We see Boonstra coming ahead here. They end up taking Deeg out. But let's see what happens if they can make something on this turret dive. Nope, they're just going to end up giving it away. So Zed ends up picking another kill here. You see Boonstra ends up TPing mid here. The only thing I really hesitate is having this Aesol side lane too early or against any of the solo laners, because he's going to be down in levels. Like, this Syndra is going to be able to one-shot this this Aesol relatively quickly in this game. So we'll see where this goes from there. But all in all, let's take a little snapshot here while Scorch is picking up this Rift Herald. They are up just a little under, it looks like about 1,500 gold here. Yeah, 1,800 gold here. And 3 kills to 4 in favor of Scorch here. Grubs are tied up 3-3. Dragons are tied up. One's an Infernal Drake. One is a Mountain Drake here. You got a little bit of trading here in the top lane. I'm not 100% sure when the Camille can start to fight back, but you know, she has armor boots as Renekton went MR boots here, so she's a little better equipped, I think, in the side lane 1v1. But Renekton is up some CS, so all in all, I think Scorch is very happy with what's going on in the solo lanes here, but I think Freebrax is pretty content that they haven't let this game get too out of hand. Nice dodge by Tim so far, and he ends up doing some Zed stuff to get away from Big B here, but we see Zed making the move down here in the bot lane, continuing to go after Syndra here. And we see Boonstra ends up getting everything off of Big B here, and then tries to fly away, but ends up getting shut down here by the Camille as Hunky had TP up, so Freebrax ends up turning this play around after they jumped onto Big B here. And it looks like they're going to be poised to get this second Drake. But we see Ares ends up coming down here. He ends up getting Camille ulted, but he's a massive crocodile here as he ends up slaying Hunky. And we see Big B's TPing back in here, so we see Rusty and Ares now posturing to potentially take this dragon here. Oh, there's an enhanced W coming out of Renekton here, and Zed ends up blowing Big B after this teleport here. So, big turn of events coming out of the Scorch team, with Ares showing up and man-moding what was left over of this dragon fight. They end up getting this third Ocean Drake. And Rusty ends up popping this Rift Herald and riding it straight into mid. So, with that big turn of events here, we have Scorch now up by 5,000 gold in this game 1 here. And this is a big series, especially for Freebrax here. If they win this, then they have sole control of the playoff spot. If they win this and win next week here, the only persons that could challenge them is Insane Banana, as they would have the tiebreaker. But Insane Banana would have to beat Coin Flip, who looks to be one of the top teams in the league, and then Caster Curse next week. So, a lot of big playoff implications here for this Group A. This actually could be a world where there's a three-way tie for the 4th spot in Group A here, as War kind of noted in the chat here. But we will start talking about that next week. And Ares ends up going after Hunky here, but we see Tim in the bot lane going after Big B. Oh, and a big pop off that Zed ult here. And Tim is now on a killing spree, as he's now 2 items against his Syndra. And I really didn't know, but that dragon fight was super massive for Zed. We were talking about how Freebrax was okay with the game state, but now this Zed's got a bunch of gold behind him. This is going to be really hard for Syndra to match him on the side lane here. It looks like the Ares is getting caught out here as the Camilo comes through. But here comes Boonstra with a big Acel ult, as he drops the meteor. Well, not in this skin, but you know, drops the meteor down on everybody. And Rusty's just in this fight here. And note, Boonstra has Rylai, so it is very hard to escape from this Acel, as now he's starting to get online. Big pin coming away from Rusty here. So we see a big snowball of events coming out of Team Scorch, as Tim gets one in the bot lane, and then the residual pick that they got on Ares, they turned around here. And that ends up being like 3 for none for the side of Scorch, as they now turn onto this Baron here. That ends up being about now a 10,000 gold lead here at the 22-minute mark coming out for Scorch. So big statement here in this game 1. I really actually enjoy not only Boonstra like navigating that fight, but his build path here. I'm definitely a big fan. Anybody who's like seen me, especially in the rec league, when Acel was first reworked, I was a massive Acel enjoyer and really still do like playing the champion. So seeing Boonstra pilot this champion is quite fun here. Boonstra ends up going forward, but he ends up getting poked out a little bit here.
I never miss.
We see Syndra getting the stun off here. Oh, but Syndra's not at max passive stack, so it doesn't take out Boonstra. Yeah, Syndra's not even at 100 stacks here. Actually, Acel is now up to 231, so Acel hitting that 10 stack a minute prior to 30 minutes is massive. Especially after a very, very slow start in the bot lane. And now we see Scorch picking up this this next Drake here to put them on soul point. But it looks like Ares may fall to this. But we see Zed TPing in here, so he ends up going after Boonstra here, but Boonstra popping the Seeker's Arm Guard. And ends up potentially surviving? No, Ares ends up going in to take out Boonstra, but the turret does the most damage. And Squirrel on his Milio gets the shutdown here. Definitely would have liked to seen that go over to either Big B or Deeg. But Milio just trying to do its best to get that Croc off his backline. Team Scorch doing just a fantastic job, especially targeting Big B here. Forcing Big B to have to go to Zhonya's second item. And we see Boonstra already on his third item here as Caitlyn got done with his second item. So a massive item discrepancy starting to come out here. See the Croc is already on 2 items. Over Camille, who's only got 1.5. See Rusty's on 2 items. Zed now on 3 items. Yeah, you're starting to see the wallet diff come out for the side of Scorch. So let's revisit this here. As we are here in about the 26.5 minute mark, you see Team Scorch up about 10,000 gold over the side of Freebrax here, with their very big wrinkle in the draft coming in the form of this Acel bot. So we see Acel dropping the big ult here to try and keep Freebrax away from Rusty. You see the Zhonya's coming out here by Big B as Zed's trying to dive the Syndra here. But Zed really doesn't really care about that Zhonya's, because Syndra just doesn't do enough damage in return here. We see Ares popping the ult, going after Hunky. So we seen Hunky end up fighting back a little bit into this Croc, but still wasn't enough. He's actually on 2 items, so he's even playing field to compare to Ares. Oh, we see Kellen ends up going forward here, but gets poked out here by Boonstra. And there's a big Acel E coming in here. Ares just gets blown up after TPing in here. Little too hyphy. That ended up being a shutdown, I believe.
Immaculate.
Going over to... what a shutdown. It would have gotten posted. But... let's see. All in all, I mean, still great. Oh, but we see Big B probably going to have to pop the Zanya. No, Zanya's is not up, so Tim ends up going... now is on a rampage here. As he catches his Syndra out. What just a massive pick by Tim on this Zed. Ends up R5ing it after they showed this Asol mind gaming that this Asol was gonna go mid, ends up going bot lane. So we see Kellen stopping Tim's back, but he definitely wants no part of this fight either. Just looking at the gold diff here, 12,000 for Tim, 8,400, a 4,000 gold lead just in mid lane alone. So welcome back, Tim. I know he's had Bulbasaurus subbing in the last few weeks and even against us. So Tim just being this absolute monster in the mid lane, coming back. And this is going to end up being Soul Point coming over here for Scorch. And Ocean Soul is absolutely massive. But it looks like Freebrax said, screw the Soul. We're going to go after Boonstra here. And that's a shutdown going over to Camille. But Camille ends up flashing away from Zed here and the turret. So let's see what this impeding fight's going to end up being. The Scorch ends up turning onto this mid lane and burning a bunch of cooldowns and flashes here. And Freebrax has still got decent posture. But we see Rusty ends up flashing in, pinning Big B. And Zed ends up getting another one. So now, after that whole sequence, it's 1 for 1. And Rusty starts up this dragon here with the rest of his team pushing mid lane. Ares trying to take this red buff in Freebrax's face. So a lot of stuff getting taken away here. Ares is going to have to end up giving this fight over for the red buff, but that's fine. It's just a distraction. And Rusty ends up belting away Kellen here. Ares now is sitting on top of a Cloud Soul. I'm sorry, an Ocean Soul here for this impeding fight. Now we start to see some of the anti-healing coming out from the side of Freebrax. Caitlyn ends up picking the Executioner's Blade here to hopefully lower that healing by about 40%. I still think somebody else, Kellen may be turning that double cloth armor into a bramble vest, because there's going to be a lot of healing they got to fight now with this Ocean Soul. Asol absolutely loves Ocean Soul. Every tick of Leandry's Blackfire Torch, his E, he's just refreshing that healing over and over and over again. And I do like this death cap coming out of Boonstra, pressing tab, seeing no one's really buying MR, so it doesn't need any pen item here, it just goes straight damage. And here's Rusty ends up pinning Kellen here, and now he's stuck in the Asol E, and Boonstra ends up taking out Kellen here. And Boonstra's pinging, he only needs 5 more stacks coming out of his ult, or to have the evolve ult here. And we see Tim ends up ulting into Big B here. And Big B doesn't have to pop the Zanyas because he's got Squirrel in the background here on everything. So doing a really good job burning Zed's cooldowns here, but that still gives Scorch plenty of time to get this Baron. Now you've got Ares trying to zone out Hunky from this top wave. And Rusty's on his way over as well. Oh, Ares played that really well, even after the after that. You see Kellen ends up ulting away here, but a really, really good placement on the E here from Boonstra to get the execute on the Hunky. And Boonstra has big old here, so here comes the Sky's Descent coming out of Aesol here. And this is going to be an end angle as Tim ends up taking out Squirrel, and Rusty ends up getting the double kill now onto Deeg. And now this only leaves Bigby up to defend the base here, as this looks prime for Scorch to take this game 1 off of a really, really massive flex in the draft here with this Aesol bot lane. Welcome back, Tim. 8-2 on this Zed. Boonstra showing off the first Aesol of the split in this winter split of the Midwest League. 4-2, 274, 350 on the stacks. Like, just well played overall here for the side of Scorch. It was a very, very impressive opening game out of them here. So, all in all, really, really impressive game. Aries doing a lot of work here. Really solid game, actually, by Deeg here on this Caitlyn as well. So let's see what this Freebrax squad has in response to that now that there's a new wrinkle in this draft. And I appreciate Scorch not pulling this out against us. Because that looks very well practiced and very, very dangerous overall to have in their back pocket here. So, we'll see what ends up happening here. I almost feel like you have to get rid of the Zed, because I feel like Zed is an answer if you're not drafting a decent amount of tankiness and CC into the trinity of mids. That is Hui, Victor, Syndra. Though Zed punishes Syndra probably the most and can get off the ground the most against him. So, be very, very curious to see what's going on. So, let's go ahead. Alright, I already had the draft up. Fantastic. Sweet. looks like we are, for the most part, ready for this draft. So let's see. We got Freebrax taking the blue side again. And for those kind of sitting here chilling out watching this, I know a lot of the Midwest guys always pop into the stream. I believe our pies will be casting the Insane Banana Coin Flip series. Should be starting here in about 5 to 10 minutes on the Twitch channel. If you would like to dual monitor and watch this week's action, these are two series from Group A. The third series between TK, I believe it's TK Gamers and Caster Curse, will be on Monday. So for those interested in how this playoff race for Group A ends up coming out, you'll be seeing that quite a bit. So we see bands coming out for Freebrax. Looks like Poppy is the big change. Yeah, Poppy instead of Ash here. For Scorch, they ended up keeping the same bands overall. So we see Freebrax ends up picking this Camille again. I don't think Camille was fine. Didn't win, didn't lose, but I feel like you're going to need a little more CC from the top lane. Like Renekton does kind of the similar thing to Camille, even though she doesn't Renekton doesn't scale as well. Still provides a lot more of the frontline team fight, and point and click CC coming out of Renekton definitely helps lock down targets quite a bit, including Camille. So we see Nami coming out again for Calico. She absolutely is a fantastic support player, especially on the Enchanters as well. So enjoys playing that. Freebrax ends up coming back with Warwick and Rel here, so slightly different mix coming out of this bot lane, as they don't play the Enchanter versus Enchanter matchup. You'll see Rel here with this team fighting, and Warwick, which is I would argue plays a similar role to Sejuani's, just a lot more skewed towards offensive and less tank stats. And a Malzahar coming out here. Okay. All right. I'm going out on a limb. This has got to be Malzahar bot. This champion, when you just throw yourself into a team fight like Warwick and Camille do, Malzahar is absolutely like insane value. Absolute insane value. Stops everything Warwick wants to do. Stops him mid-ult with the press of a button. Excuse me. Camille stops everything she wants to do. It's just an absolute insane. So I'm going down a limb. This is Boonstros. He's flexing the champ pool here. Trying to see how many different mages he can play bot lane. And this is... I feel like this is going to be good. Now, low-key, Freebrax could drop the Acel here, because Acel does get stacks from the Malzahar minions, actually. And there's nothing flying in threatening the team comp of Freebrax. Acel does like to fly forward with fightery engagers like Warwick Camille. So, Freebrax has a decent Acel opening here if we want to kind of just dream how this draft is going to go. But let's see. We end up seeing the Jarvan, the Zed come out. We see 80 carries getting banned out by Scorch. I think those are two premier AD carries that actually do quite well into Malzahar. And then we see Rusty. This is kind of the patented Rusty special on the Mundo. I don't think any jungler outside of maybe Insane Bananas jungler has played Mundo in the jungle, and even now I think this is Rusty's 4th time. I think he's 3-0 on this actually. So, and we see a Vayne coming out here. So very short range AD carry, very good tank busting. And this low key might be our first Vayne of the split? Question mark. This is our first Vayne of the split here, and then a Rise coming out here. All right, I like Freebrax's like draft so far. I think Vayne has no issues kiting forward, kiting back with the Warwick Camille. Um, and then we see the Rise being able to kite as well. So the Freebrax comp is very, very mobile here. They're just also very snowbally. And let's see what. Okay, Annie. Annie. Okay, Tim Annie. Not was not on my bingo card. Uh, First Annie of the split. If I'm using the updated stats here, first Vayne of the split. Um, first Rise of the split. So we have first Annie, first Rise, first Vayne in this game, first Asol in last game. I'm pretty. This was not the first Malzahar. Yeah, Malzahar's 2-1. Been picked 3 times here. So this is going to be again another entertaining draft.
I must not fall. Seems you left your brave pants at home. Want me to?
Oh man. Oh man. Scorch is is cooking with this one. Man, Malzahar Annie. Okay. Man, they're cooking with some jet fuel. I should know. I fuel planes. That's very strong. Oh man. Okay. Tim, Annie mid into Rise. Annie can blow up Rise until Rod gets evolved. Then I think Annie starts to have diminishing kill pressure. Malzahar bot into Vayne. I love the Vayne and hate the Vayne because Vayne has a really hard time dealing with the Malzahar Voidlings. Now while it wasn't bot lane with supports, I have played Malzahar mid into Vayne, and she just has a really really hard time pushing back against Malzahar here. Um, Callie in the chat. Aw, this is I love this. I love what both these teams are drafting. They're just kind of mind gaming a little bit here, but I think Vayne has a really hard time pushing back Malzahar. Um, I do the Scorch 4 or 5 bands and Kaisa Jin have a really easy time of pushing back Malzahar and dealing with the Voidlings. So I really do think that that those are 2 really really key bands here overall. So I'm curious to see how this bot lane goes between Boonstruck, Calico versus Deeg and Squirrel, because Deeg is going to have a really hard time just hitting all of these Voidlings and stopping the push here. I don't think Rel Q one-shots the Voidlings. If it does, then obviously that changes the whole dynamic. But I don't believe it does here. So this is something that's going to be super super entertaining, guys. And I love every second of it. The next series starts at 9:45. My apologies. I was wondering why I didn't see anybody in the chat here. So, all right, I'm going to get a replenish of something to drink because I feel like this game is going to be absolutely insane here. I will change this real fast for the people just tuning in. Scorch being up 1-0 here. And this is game number 2 between Scorch and Freebrax. So, and yes, you are looking at that correctly. That is a Malzahar bot lane. So, we will be right back with this action here, and we'll see if Freebrax can respond in this game too.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
All right, and we are back here.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
There we go. Wait, zoom out, please.
Minions have spawned.
There we go. There's a zoom out here. All right, so here we are back here again with Scorch on the red side, Freebrax on the blue side. Scorch is up 1-0 in this series here. And Boonstra deciding to just play bot lane on easy mode by just picking nothing but mages this series so far. Had the first ASOL of the split last game and looked quite impressive and patient on it. And we have the first Annie, Vayne, and Malzahar of the split showing up in this game here. The only real repeat matchup we have is Ares versus Hunky and a Renekton versus Camille matchup in the top lane. Tim going with the first strike again. I don't even think he changed rune pages. So we see the bot lane for Freebrax getting aggressive on the Calico here. She ended up stepping up just a little bit too much and had to burn flash. And junglers pathing opposite directions than last game. So I think we wanted to see Warwick gank this bot lane, but it's going to be really, really hard. Like, Vayne just offers nothing for a gank. Not gonna lie, I was kind of worried that red was gonna reset on you there, Rusty. And Rusty also going with the flashless Mundo. Just noticed that is the Ghost Mundo. So, Big B bringing the bone plating here against Annie. I think that rune, when it's up, really shuts down a lot of what Annie wants to do. And Boonstra going with the Sapphire Crystal start so he can get an early Lost Chapter back. I do like what the Freebrax bot lane is doing, knowing that if this Malzahar just does what he wants to do and free hits the wave, that they're never going to be out from under their turret. So Vayne Rel playing up in their face early helps.
Precision is the only standard that matters.
We see Warwick getting an early gank here onto Annie. Tanks 2 turret shots here. Annie doesn't. Flashed forward just to try and get the autos onto Kellen, but ends up being just a little lacking on the damage there. But solid gank. Annie ends up having to burn. That's Hex Flash on Annie, by the way. Okay. Oh, we see a flash coming out of Boonstra here, so this Freebrax bot lane is not having any of this shit about mages down here. They're playing aggressive and in their face, which Vayne does quite well when isolated, but we'll see if Rusty ends up making a visit down here, because I still think this lane for Scorch can do a lot of really good things. Rusty ends up starting the Dragon with really none of his lanes having that much prio, and has to burn the Ghost to get away here. Also, minus 2 points for Rusty not using a Mundo skin. He has so many good ones here. Big B kind of pushing Boonstra out of that chokehold here, but Rise doesn't have any mana. Oh, but a big flash forward coming out of Squirrel here. But the rest of his team is staying on this Dragon. First blood coming out for Kellen here. And Kellen gets the drag. We have a Deeg flashing forward. I'm sorry, didn't flash forward. Tumbles forward there to get the kill on the Calico. So Freebrax not appreciating the cooking on the side of Scorch here. Ends up taking just shy of a 1,000 gold lead here in the first 2 kills in this Mountain Drake. So I think Mountain Drake onto the side of a late game team comp is really, really positive for them. I mean, Big B could itemize a little bit tankier later, but still, him having a boatload of resistances with Roa Seraphs, this Mountain Drake definitely benefits from a lot of that. So Rel enjoys Mountain Drake. Warwick does as well. And we see Hunky playing this lane a little bit better than last game. He was down, I'd say about 10, 15 CS at this point, but definitely trending downward. So we don't see these teams didn't trade for the grubs either. So we see Warwick Rel top lane. Let's see if Ares sniffs this one out. But it looks like their Warwick just showed top to help push to try and get prio for these grubs here. But we see the bot lane for Scorch ends up moving up after they one-buttoned the wave. Thank you to Malzahar here. So we'll see what happens here. Malzahar does pretty well in helping get Void Grubs, and definitely can get an influx of mana away from the Void Grubs as well, as if the Maleficent Vision, if it spreads between the smaller voids, you can get a lot of mana back from that. And we see Scorch starting it up here, knowing that they got the numbers advantage overall. And it looks like Freebrax is going to give this one up. So a little bit of a trade in objectives here. All in all. But we see Boonstra actually TPing bot lane. So Boonstra didn't miss anything here. And Rusty gets all three of the Void Grubs. So nice posture and movement out of Team Scorch here for this one. We see Tim ends up ulting Big B here. Gets quite a bit of gold from that first strike. And now we get to judge the Tibbers control coming out of Tim. Using Tibbers clear the wave here. Alright, decent. And then let's Tibbers just go under turret. Okay. Tibbers doesn't have the greatest duration. Level 1 ult, so. Nice dodge overall by Ares there. See Vayne having a little bit of a CS lead bot lane. Actually, there's not, yeah, for the most part, these teams are fairly even. No one's winning out on this laning phase. We just got the 2 kills coming out of Freebrax here. Kind of curious to see what Boonstra ends up buying this first item here. I think similar to last game, he wants Faded Ashes and the Blackfire Torch, just so he can make sure he has the push. But we see Deeg and this Vayne going after a Blade of the Ruin King. It's not that I don't disagree with Vayne and the item. I think this is the rest of your laning phases. You're getting pushed in unless you have something like Static Shift to just help combat the push here. So we'll see. I would expect Boonstra to kind of make up a little bit of CS here. We'll see how this ends up working. We'll see the Hextech Dragon. Sorry about that, had to yawn. See the Hextech Dragon coming up here as Rusty kind of de-wards the area. But looked like he started this dragon for the most part. Observer, we're going down bot side here. So we see quite a bit of posturing from both sides here. We do have Big B up in the top side here. Let's see if they end up turning on the Big B, as Tim has his ult. But here we have a fight over this dragon. Really good Nami ult to disrupt Kellen's ult, but Kellen still ends up taking down Rusty Crow here. And we see Big B's Rise ends up getting another back onto Boonstra here. So that's 2 dragons that Scorch postured for and ended up losing the impeding team fight here. I think they needed to just pick a target and focus it down, and then play the fight out after that. Because I mean, you have Annie ult into Malzahar ult. I think you just pick like Warwick or somebody who just walks right in. But now we see Big B kind of being an annoyance here to Rusty. And we see Kellen starting up these grubs here now with the help of Big B. So we'll see. I don't know if Rusty's going to try and steal one or what ends up happening here. That's 2 going over. See if Rusty ends up trying to steal one. Nope, he saves Smite for the 3rd one. So grubs are now 3-3 here. And Freebrax has a 2,000 gold lead. Going into the first item completions, you have dual Blade of the Rune Kings getting done by Kellen and Deeg here. Malzahar looks like it's going towards Blackfire Torch here. Calico just building a typical enchanter item. Rusty looks like he's potentially going Heartsteel. First item, Black Cleaver coming out of Ares here. He also had a really early Roa coming out for the side of Big B Tiger, so. And we see Hunky ends up ulting in Ares, but now Warwick ends up coming in here. But now we also see Big B using the Rise ult to get out. So an insane escape coming out of Big B's Rise there, as this early stacked Roa ends up helping him survive this all-in. Oh, but we see Big B tried to play this kiting game around with Tim, but Tim's just playing this Annie that doesn't care about kiting. Like, it's a lot of point-and-click spells here. So Tim ends up getting one in return, and what was I believe a shutdown. Yeah, gets a little extra gold off that shutdown from Big B's Rise. So there's one coming back here, and now they're just a little over 1,000 gold down. And we see that Scorch ends up taking this Rift Herald as well, so they can claw this gold lead back into their favor here with a with that Rift Herald going after a turret. And now that I'm seeing this matchup a little more and more, I like this Vayne queuing forward every time Boostra tries to queue him, and getting a little bit of a poke coming out here. So ends up not being as much one-sided as I thought with the Blade of the Rune King here, but we'll see. I think Scorch definitely has a one-button delete kind of comp here, depending on who either gets Annie ulted or Malzahar ulted here. And you see Ares ends up ulting after Hunky comes in for a trade, and Hunky has to end up flashing away here. So both top laners do not have TP. We'll see which ones want to come down for this dragon. Big B getting a favorable trade on the Tim here. Tim has the Tibbers up. Tim's going to have to get a little bit of healing coming out of Calico here. Oh, we see a big ult coming out from Rel and Warwick to end up getting the shutdown on the Tim's Annie here. Didn't even have a chance to drop Tibbers. Well played by the Freebrax team. I was talking about how Scorch has a one-button delete kind of combo. Freebrax has just as much of one. And this is going to be the third Drake going over for the side of Freebrax. And they're the ones with the late game kind of insurance comp here. And we see Kellen ends up vandering his way over to Calico here and gets on a rampage here. And gives the shutdown over to Calico, even with Boonstra burning TP there. So both sums coming out of Calico here for the Warwick shutdown. Warwick burns Flash, but on the other side, Boonstra gets his TP out. So 3 sums for the side of Scorch here. We see Rusty kind of posturing up in this top lane here. Hunky doesn't know here, so we'll see what ends up happening here. Nice nice slingshot into the back line here. So, and for those tuning in, like I kind of mentioned in this, oh, never mind. We got Hunky ends up ulting in here, and Kellen ends up coming up as well. Let's see, Ares doesn't have a chance to turn this one around, but he forced Kellen to use the ult to get out of there. And Freebrax ends up getting this first turret and making Tim burn his ult here, so this Freebrax comp is performing quite well. They never really got behind, and they keep the pace of this game pretty fast and loose here. And like I said, I started this before the action picked up a little bit. For those sitting here watching, if you guys have a dual monitor set up, or you know, just want to split screen this, Arpies is casting Coin Flip versus Insane Banana over on the Twitch channel. Another Group A game that has a bunch of big implications here. Boy, Big B's super tanky into this comp here. It's turning out that the Scorched comp is pretty low damage all in all. They're about 3,000 gold behind. You see Ares doing a really good job trading, but Hunky's not afraid to trade back here. I think once Hunky ends up getting this Ravenous Hydra, then I think it's going to be really good, because he's going to be able to heal away from all of this trade as well. Rusty ends up having to drop the Rift Herald here, but now he's going to end up getting caught out, and he's getting TP'd on by Big B. So Rusty going to give this this group time to just chase. We see Boonstra end up taking on Big B, getting the ult out and comboed with Calico there, but they just don't have the damage, and they gave up chasing Rusty, as now Hunky ends up ulting Calico, and she ends up falling as well. So while Rusty gets out, they end up still getting one on the other side of it. And there's a boatload of cooldowns burned, so they could look at this Baron. See if Rusty has another insane steal. He doesn't have flash here, so he's going to just try and use the cleaver, but that's really good on Kellen to hold that smite after he threw that cleaver. And this Baron is actually massive for this Freebrax comp, because it's really difficult for mages to push back Baron minions. you go from having really, really insane wave clear with Malzahar to having basically, it feels like none at all. Because these minions just do not fall when Baron buffed up. So let's see what this Freebrax comp can do now with Baron and the other dragon coming up. He veins on 2 items now. Oh, that cleaver chunks. What the hell? Oh, we see an ult coming out here, and that's the combo where we were talking about, a big delete button, and they end up taking out Kellen super early into here. We see Rise ult ends up taking the rest of his team away, so big, big delete button coming out of Tim and Boonstra here. And actually super well played by Big B to get the ult out and not get CC'd so the rest of his team could leave here, because that was disastrous. But we see the Freebrax comp ends up pushing mid lane with some of the Baroned up minions here to get that tier 2 turret out of mid. So really, really nice response here. See if they actually get top lane as well. They have 3 grubs, so they do take it relatively fast. But Malzahar can't do much into these Baron minions, so that ends up being a dragon, the first one for Scorch. And Freebrax takes 2 tier 2s, top and mid, for that dragon. So, nice response, nice chance to get resources into the side of Freebrax still. They didn't lose out on everything. We're starting to see the scaling come into play here with Rise now being 2 completed items, and Vayne now like 2.5 items. Looks like she's building towards a Wit's End, which I think is actually pretty clutch here. Seen Freebrax posturing in this topside jungle, but not really wanting to pick too much of a fight. Boonstra doing a really solid job pushing back Big B a little bit. They're both just going to trade farm here for the most part. Boonstra going Rylai's second is quite interesting. I can't necessarily say I agree with the Rylai's. Like, for the most part, Freebrax's comp is coming at you, so you don't need the Rylai's to slow. I think you're at this point you want a little more wave clear damage. But I think Rylai's ends up getting built anyway. It just synergizes too well with Malzahar, so building it second, building it third, building it fourth, it really doesn't matter. I just think when your comp's getting pushed back, you want the most amount of wave clear you can to prolong the game. So, Let's take a little bit of a snapshot here. We're at the 27-minute mark. It is 8 kills to 4 in favor of Freebrax. 3 dragons to 1. Again, in favor of Freebrax. And they are up about 6,000 gold, all in all. With what I would argue is a much better scaling comp for the most part. We see Vayne completing the Wits End. You got Cosmic Drive coming out by Rise. I really like this Cosmic Drive here. Baron ends up coming up here. I think Scorch needs to advance their vision a little bit and fight for this river control. Because if they can get established in there, it's only going to take one big anti-ult to kind of turn this fight around a little bit. So we don't see Warwick building any more MR, at least as of right now here. Although we see Rise trying to ult out here and ends up getting shut down. The ulting in Malzahar's face is probably not the greatest idea here. But now they're pinging Dragon here for the side of Scorch. But this also, Freebrax knows that they're forced to go after Dragon since it's Soul Point. And Freebrax ends up trading the Baron. So, interesting turn of events here. I like Freebrax playing the map and going after this Baron, knowing that that Scorch has to go after this Dragon. But I think this is... I don't think the Rise is going to get any tankier. At least I feel like he's not going to build tankier, especially with the Sword Shoes, Cosmic Drive 3rd. So unless Rise ends up going like Abyssal Mask or something to that degree, like, okay, we do see the MR coming out here. Okay, so that's going to end up being, I forget the name of that item, but that is an MR item for the most part. So, interesting take there. Force of Nature, thank you. Thank you, chat. I could not, the name escaped me there for a second. Vayne's got a boatload of farm here. See Leandry's starting to get built up by Boonstra. I think this game has now gotten to a point where Scorches has enough effective wave clear, enough tank stats that they can let their wave clear get rid of supers. That the only way this fight's going to be won or lost is who face checks who. And right now, I think I still favor the side of Freebrax there a little bit. Just wonder who's going to make the first move here. Baron should be, what, about half done, give or take. Baron actually might have just fell off. No, that's right. Big B didn't have Baron. So Baron's about 3/4 of the way done, even less than that. So Scorch doing a really good job. They only dropped 1 turret on this Baron push. Yeah, it's an interesting question, Marika. I think they don't feel like they they can wave clear against these Baron minions that effectively, so they're just trying to hold just 2 lanes as much as they can and stopgap the bleeding, but that's going to force them into being behind in experience and gold overall here. As we see now, the gold is up to just a little under 8,000 here in favor of the side of Freebrax. I'm also kind of curious why Rise wasn't in the mid lane, knowing that he could ult the minions into a different lane here. That he could have done some really tricky things with the minions. I mean, if you ult half a wave, including the cannon, into another wave where everybody else is, then I think you definitely like siege a turret and get at least the inhib turret down. But Malzahar now on 3 items, got the Leandries. I like this quite a bit. Looks like Vayne's going. I have no clue what Vayne's building. We see a Force of Nature already out by Rise, so Malzahar plus anti-ult won't kill Rise in one go. Mundo finally got Spirit Visage, so he's now going to be pretty healthy. I'm not sure if Heartsteel was the way to go here for the Mundo, but he is face tanking here. Big ult by Calico. We've seen a big ult coming out by Tim here, and they end up blowing up this Warwick here. Camille's trying to do what she can, but we see Vayne on this backline here dancing around quite a— oh my, what a flash condemn coming out of D. What a massive fight for this Vayne. And that might be a game-changing play here, as Vayne ends up starting up this dragon and gets Soul here. But Rusty doing the best he can, ends up getting Squirrel at the end of this. Actually, all of those Infernal Cinders going over to Rise is pretty massive. But Vayne absolutely carrying this fight with an insane flash condemn onto Ares there. And that's Soul Point going over to the side of Freebrax. I did not catch that, Rurika. Yeah, Warwick was able to get E off during that. So yeah, that ends up helping with the tankiness. Wow, what a fight by Deeg here. Coming out with the first Vayne of the split and performing super well on it. Vayne turns out into a Jack show. Okay. Yep. Now the tank stats come out by Freebrax. This game is very much in their favor. We see Freebrax starting up this Baron here. Tim doesn't have Flash up, but has Hex Flash. And we see Big B. Oh, but Boostra ends up ulting Rise. Tim ulted as well, but still cannot take down this Rise here. He may fall to Malefic Visions. You got Ares dive in the backline here. Camille making life an absolute hell for Malzahar. Ares doing everything he can here to pick up, but Vayne ends up still being left untouched here. An insane fight coming out of Freebrax. There's just too many points of contention out of their comp. Like, you ult Big B and Deeg's untouched. You ult Deeg and then Big B and Hunky's untouched. There's just too many threats coming out of this side of Freebrax here. What an insane fight in this game. And Freebrax ends up taking game 2 off of Scorch here as we go to a deciding Game 3 between these two teams in this Group A matchup. What an insane just performance by Freebrax to end up taking this game out. And let's check some of the stats from the client here. Okay. There we go. As Big B ends up doing just a massive amounts of damage here. Deeg ends up doing the second most damage in the game here, followed by Hunky's Camille here. So all three of these scaling champs coming out for the side of Freebrax. And to think that they got the first 3 dragons as well with the scaling comp. So impressive all in all by Freebrax here. So okay, we have the draft open for Game 3 here. So let's look at Game 1. We've seen the R4 Soul, which ended up going bot lane. And they counterpicked mid. Syndra with Zed here, in which Tim popped off and had a really solid game there. And then Game 2, kind of something similar. We've seen Malzahar come out R3. And when they banned 80 carries, we kind of expected Malzahar to go bot lane. And I thought they were going to have a really hard time containing this Malzahar with Vayne Rel. But they ended up playing it really well. And overall, I was just pretty much kind of wrong about that lane. I thought Vayne would have a hard time always being on the back foot. But she played in Malzahar's face and did quite well in the laning phase there. So let's see what adaptations we see for Game 3. I'm not sure if Boonstra relogged in his client and took it off easy mode, and if he's going to play a regular AD carry, or if he's just said, screw it, we're going to leave easy mode on and play another mage here. I don't know. Boonstra is probably one of the most versatile AD carries in this league. He's played any and everything. If I remember correctly, him and Calico actually did the Swain Zillion bot lane, which was an absolute terror to watch. So, there's definitely a lot of champs in this bot lane's pool. We'll see what they can do. But honestly, like, Deeg on this Vayne had some absolute massive plays. And just surviving laning phase alone is pretty impressive for Vaynes, as I've seen my fair share of Vaynes lose the game by just locking the champion in, let alone piloting them at a complete, like, novice level. So, See a couple people in the chat. Rico, what's up, bro? Hopefully, getting the last little bit of your elo in before the season changes here soon. That's gonna be on what, the 8th? That's gonna be so fun for week 5. No, it's not. So let's see. And here we go with game 3 of Scorch and Freebrax. If Scorch wins this, I believe they are locked into playoffs. If Freebrax wins this, then this puts them in a very, very good position for their playoff push. So we see Freebrax ends up getting rid of Cassante, Zillion. This was a Poppy ban game 2. Okay, so same bans for Freebrax. Scorch, we see the Leona, the Amumu, and let's see if this ends up being a Victor ban. Okay, so same 3 bans for Scorch every game. And note Scorch's red side all 3 games here. So 50% win rate for both sides so far. And we see the Warwick first pick coming out for Freebrax. Okay. Warwick, very strong champion. Got a lot of quality of life changes and a lot of good things coming his way earlier in the year. And people were starting to pick up on how strong he was. I think he even got hotfix nerfed a couple patches ago, because it was insane. So Scorch ends up going for the Sejuani here. Okay, so Sejuani leads me to believe that we could potentially see another melee top laner, maybe Renekton coming out of Scorch again. Synergizes really well with Sejuani. See if Tim wants to pull out the Zed again. Calico getting Nami potentially all 3 games. See if this ends up getting locked in here. Yep, ends up getting locked in. So that's Calico on Nami all 3 games. And actually, this is a 3rd different jungler for Rusty Crow here. I think this one's a little more impactful than Mundo. Note no Skarner priority in for either of these junglers. Any of these games. And we see Freebrax coming out with the Vayne again, so they're feeling really hypey over this Vayne pick here, as Deeg had an insanely impressive game on this Vayne bot lane here. So I'll be very curious to see how Scorch responds to this. Vayne Rel, so Freebrax running back this bot lane here, and we see a Jinx coming out, potentially Misfortune. I like Misfortune. Vayne's such short range, Samir and Neela. So Boonstra just kind of has his pick of the litter here for AD carry. Okay, I like that a lot more. I felt like Misfortune could get interrupted quite easily. So Varus coming out here for Boonstra here. So actually playing an AD carry. He decided to take the gloves off for this game. And I also like Varus because the E has built-in Grievous wounds, so it works against Warwick quite heavily. We see the Zed getting banned over again, away from Tim, and we see Big B's champ pool get attacked here, as now this ends up being 3 mid bans going over the Big B. So Big B is going to play something different. For this game here. So, and we see Renekton coming out, so they're forcing Ares to pick something different as well here. Notice that Camille is still up for the side of Freebrax, as they picked Camille both games here, and an Orianna coming out here We noted the Camille. That's not really a great big surprise here. Poppy being gone is interesting. I still think it could have been a Talia angle here. Blind Talia coming out of Scorch. Um, we've seen Big B. He actually played Galio into me. And was very, very good at it earlier in the split. And then we seen a Pantheon hover. This could be interesting. First Pantheon of the split? Question mark? And a Yone coming out. So Ares wanting just a touch more scaling into his champ. So picks the Yone here. Interesting. So very, very interesting draft overall. I like the Camille, Galio, Rel, Warwick. Like that 4-person combo is a boatload of engage. And I really don't think Scorch has the most amount of appeal for it. So I actually think Freebrax has a really solid winning comp here. It looks like we are waiting for the Scorch side here for just a minute. So
I must not fall.
alright, and we are in client here. Let's go over to this.
Seems you left your brave pants at home. Want me to wait while you...
Okay.
People fear what they cannot understand.
Ori's one of the rare AP champs that I think pushes back Galio a little bit. Galio can set up ganks a lot easier with Warwick, so Ori's probably on even footing, being scared of that. Yone into Camille. I think Yone can trade a lot better early if he plays it right. Camille can definitely, like, if Yone misses Q3 and Camille ends up getting a stun off, then Camille wins that trade and can tank up a little bit. So I think it's a very, very Dragon Ball Z style skill expressive matchup top lane. I like Sejuani here because I think she can soak up the burst a lot better with her passive at the very beginning. Vayne still has just the same difficulty playing, I think, than that she did last game, and she popped off quite heavily. I think it's going to come down to, can Yone hit a Q3, Sejuani hit ult, and follow up with Orianna? Because I think Orianna brings a lot more damage to the table than, say, Annie Malzahar. If Varus lands an ult, I think that's pretty big. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure onto the Scorch team comp. But if they perform, they can definitely keep this other team at bay quite heavily. There's really going to be a lot of pressure on Calico because she has to peel so many things with just, so few tools in Nami's kit. Not that Nami can't peel, she's great at that as a champion, but peeling engage after engage after engage is very difficult for her. She's more of like a team fight peel, and where like Janna has repetitive peel over and over again. So that's going to be a lot on her shoulders. But I think if the Scorch team gets ahead, then they can withstand the engages more. But there's going to be so much shit thrown their way. The first person that gets engaged on is immediately getting Galio ulted, Rel ulted. Like, it's just, if Warwick lands, honestly, if Camille lands, it's going to be quite hard. So this is going to be very difficult for Scorch to play, but not impossible. So this is going to be a very, very chaotic game. I feel like if the pace of the game is fast, I think it favors Freebrax. But Scorch's comp, if they get into a state where Freebrax doesn't want to walk in the fog of war, they can blow them up quite quickly. So this is interesting. For those in chat, who do you favor in looking at these team comps? I'm very curious. So no flash on Hunky. Unlike, I think, last two games on Camille, he took flash. Both of them in the Renekton, though, so I think she definitely wanted the flash. Boonstra, I think, going a little more on the on-hit build, which I think is correct for the most part. There's a lot of tank stats he's got to get through, and damage resistances from Gallia, Warwick, Camille Shields, Rel. That's worth it. No, outside of Varus E, no innate other sources of anti-healing coming out without spending gold, so no ignite, no other kits have it. So Warwick could run rampant a little bit in this early game. We'll see. So here we go, guys. We've got Scorch on the red side and Freebrax on the blue side. And a decisive game 3. Scorch needs this game to basically lock themselves into playoffs. And Freebrax needs this game to put themselves in basically a win and you're in scenario next week as the only team on the bottom side of Group A that they have over them is Insane Banana. Insane Banana did knock off Freebrax, so they have the tiebreaker over them. So, a couple of mana flow stacks coming out of Tim here. Tim on Oriana. This man plays mages at just an insane level here. So I look for a lot of the focus to be on him. He popped off really well game 1 on Zed in against Big B's Sindra here. And now Tim on this Oriana in the Galio, I think has a really big part to play in this game. We see a little bit of early trading coming out of Ares there, so really nicely done there.
Opportunity rewards those who wait.
See the D shield coming out of Big B there, so definitely playing this quite defensive into Oriana. I think he has to do that, or he just gets autoed away. Kellen clearing from top to bot here, and also Rusty is as well, so this fighter v fighter matchup in the top lane, not going to get too much jungle intervention. I think that might be low-key a little bit of a mistake, so I think whichever one of these top laners gets ahead really controls that lane quite heavily here. Nice trade back from Boonstra there. We see Squirrel going forward here. But we see, it looks like Kellen kind of noticed that Rusty has ganked behind the bot lane both times here. We see the bot lane's trying to fight here in the river here as the junglers are also fighting up top. And we see this Vayne getting super low here, but we see the bot lane for Scorch having to flash away here. So Ignite burned by Squirrel, but both flashes burned from the bot lane here. And nobody ends up falling. So good adaptation by Kellen knowing Rusty's came around that tri-bush both games. And we see a flash coming out from Tim as Big B was charging up the taunt.
Only standard that matters.
Nice dodge by Deeg there, off the Varus Q. I see a Tear of the Goddess coming out from Big B. Okay. I'm assuming that's Winter's Approach. Though I can see a world where Galio goes AP here. It just becomes a bomb that Kellen / Hunky send. Oh, and Rusty's Q gets blocked here by Kellen. Let's see what happens here. And that's first blood going over to Kellen. So big block, big Q coming out of this Warwick to block Rusty from getting over that wall there. Ares kind of taking control of this lane a little bit. First back, he attempted 3 daggers. He wants attack speed. Interesting. I thought he got knocked up there. But we see Bigby coming up topside here as Hunky ends up ulting Ares. And Ares falls down here. So that was the early game combo we were talking about. With either Hunky or Kellen ulting in, CCing somebody. And giving Big B the freaking go-ahead to dive bomb everybody. So, big rotation here by Big B. He loses a touch of the wave here for the most part, but Kellen ends up getting these grubs topside, which is going to be massive for Camille if she wants to itemize into more of a split push. But Rusty ends up getting that first dragon, which getting that Earth Drake, or Mountain Drake, sorry, away from the Freebrax team comp is actually really massive. That's one of the bigger, like, 1 dragon buffs they could have gotten. See Julia in the chat. Hello there. Marika was in earlier. Nice of you to join us. Hopefully you guys got 2 monitors set up watching the Twitch stream as Coin Flip is facing Insane Banana. But we see an ult coming in here and a big gank coming out of Rusty here, and there's a kill going over the Tim here. So big pickup coming in return coming for the Scorch side here. It was really, really massive that Tim ends up getting that that kill as well. Well, I appreciate the support, Julia. Both of them very big series for the Group A. We see Rusty coming up here on this gank side as well. We've seen the ignite coming out by Hunky, so potentially might be looking at. Oh, but here comes a Warwick ult canceled by Ares' Q3 here. So a lot of things going Scorch's way here to stop this 2v2 up in the top side here. See if they end up Oh, but big ult coming out of Ares, but Rusty ends up falling to Kellen here. And now Ares again is in the top side, but now there's 3 here. But big ult also coming for the bot side here as Deeg ends up flashing forward and gets Boonstra here. So the bot lane for Freebrax fighting back here as this Vayne gets 1 kill in this laning phase here. Warwick is just a minute. Yeah, Warwick is absolutely insane. And Kellen has played it absolutely phenomenal these last 2 games. It's even so much that on blue side, they first picked this Warwick and just put a lot of faith in Kellen here in this decisive game 3. And what could potentially be like a or season-defining game for Freebrax here when you look at the playoffs. But now we see the bot lane for Freebrax, getting absolutely annihilated as Tim takes 1 back on the Deeg here, and Rusty gets the kill on the Squirrel. So 4-man bot side. That's where you all chat 4-man bot there. But I think the bot lane of Freebrax should have known that was coming. But look at the pink ward coverage for the side of Scorch here. They got 2 pinks, 2 other wards on this bot side. Absolute vision control there. Tim already having his first item here. Foregone boots. So all in all here at about the 11 and a half minute mark, 5 kills to 3 in favor of Freebrax as they also had the first blood. And 3 grubs. They got the first 3 with the second 3 coming up here in about 20 seconds. And they are up just a little under 1,000 gold here. We're looking at about 800, about 700, sorry. Yep, gold coming out here. So we'll see what ends up happening here. I definitely think they need to... Oh, but Rusty's on the bot side here. Oh, nice condemn by Deeg here. But big kill going over to the side of Boonstra here. But that basically forfeits 3 grubs going over to the side of Freebrax here. So you have 6 grubs on the side of Camille. You also have now Dragon coming up here in 15 seconds. So let's see if they can posture enough here. Rusty ends up kind of man-moding that exchange there. We get another plate going to the bot lane of Scorch here. So while they did get solo killed in the 2v2, they ended up throwing some resources bot lane and evened it back up here. Now we see Scorch taking on this Cloud Drake, which I actually think is pretty good. All in all, getting out of combat movement speed is really good for rotations. But we see Kellen end up using the ult here. We see a TP coming out of Tim, but then another TP coming out of Bigby here as a big ult coming off of Tim. Oh, and he ends up getting 2 in return here. What a play by Tim in the 1v3 under this top turret here. Welcome back to the league, Tim. Well played, my friend. Oh, but we see him chasing Bigby here. See if he can kite him out of the way. Bigby's taunt ends up coming just a little bit short. But Tim's still chasing here. And Ares TPing there. Let's see if they continue to go after Bigby. Bigby ends up getting some of this honey fruit plant. Rusty now coming up as well here. And ends up getting that kill over the Rusty here. So a 3-for-1 after, a very long exchange. Favoring the side of Scorch. But we see Calico getting jumped on here. Kellens is running down Rusty Crow here. And Tim ends up firing some damage back. Tim 4-0 now on this Orianna. Gotta respect the Ori here. And all this damage that's coming out of it. We see Kellen going with the Stride Breaker instead of the Blade of the Rune King this time. Interesting adaptation. And I think for the first time this series, we actually see the Freebrax top side of the map get the Rift Herald. I believe the other two games it went over to the side of Scorch. I know it did game 2, game 1, it might not have, but we see the start of a Shadow Flame coming out of Tim. I think at some point in time he's going to want Leandries just because of the amount of HP that's going to naturally come on the side. But, oh, Calico with a big ult coming out here. And we see Boonstra trying to do as much. Oh, big ult by Tim here to get Squirrel and Bigby. And Boonstra ends up flashing under the turret to try and get Deeg here. Deeg with a clutch barrier. Tim absolutely being a menace on this Orianna here. Shades of playoff Tim that we seen last split here. Boonstra showing his mid laner some love with the pings. 6-0. 2 full items, including a Storm Surge at 15 minutes. All this Orianna's going to delete whoever gets caught in her ults. Nice dodge by Ares overall here. And while Hunky's up 3 kills to none against Ares, Ares finds a way to trade that back. Let's get rehydrated here, as this game's going to be really, really entertaining. I do find it interesting now that I'm just kind of comparing comp to comp here that Deke took the barrier, knowing that I think the only thing that's really going to stop him from doing a lot into this Scorch comp is cleanse. I think Sejuani ult into Ori ult, you're going to want to cleanse that Sejuani ult early to try and dodge Ori ult. Not sure if he feels that they've got so much to get through. Oh, but we got Boonstra getting jumped on here in the mid lane. Goodbye. That was a lot thrown at a little. And Boonstra gets taken out quite quickly here before this third dragon comes up here. Yep. Boonstra got introduced to actually playing an AD carry in this season. We see the Rift Herald coming down from mid here. Oh, Calico! You are not long for this world. Oh, and she had to burn flash as well. Oh, that's a feels bad. And we see the pace of this game is kind of slowed down just a little bit here. As Freebrax looks like they're either setting up a mid-turret dive or they're just trying to see if anybody walks into fog here. Oh, but you see Hunky ends up ulting Boonstra here. Oh, but a big ult coming out by Ares potentially here. But I think he's going to end up falling as well. And that's kind of what we talked about here in the load-up screen. Is like there's so much engage that it's just impossible once you get caught by the first one to escape it. And Ares ends up TPing to try and save his AD carry, but falls himself. And while this game was looking really, really good for Scorch, they still have a 1,000 gold lead here. It feels like the tempo and momentum is definitely on the side of Freebrax. So they get this mid-tier 1. Looks like they're going to get this top-tier 1 as well. Boonstra realizing that mages are a little better than ADC. They cleared the wave faster, so you can get the hell out of the middle of that wave before you get bonsai'd on. Feels like the Freebrax team learned everything they needed to from games 1 and 2. If at first you engage and it fails, pick more engage. But honestly, like the engage that they had in the first game was nothing like that they had in like games 2 and games 3. Oh, but Tim ends up getting jumped on here. But he's potentially has a little bit of a damage. He might be able to return here on the squirrel. You see Rusty ends up diving in here. There's no Orianna ult for this fight, though. Oh, big ult by Ares, though. As he's trying to get out, and he ends up getting slain here. But Rusty ends up falling here. They forced Vayne back a little bit. See if they can go after, and that's a shutdown going over to Boonstra here. So big turn of events coming from the side of Scorch as they look to get this third dragon here. So Scorch doing what they need to dodge that first engage, and they didn't get the trigger committed from the side of Freebrax here, as there was no Camille ult coming in secondary, there was no Galio ult, and it was just enough that Tim got back out, got some residual damage on the squirrel, and the rest of his team ended up fighting afterwards here. But they still did not get the shutdown off of Tim either, so good job of him protecting his gold and bounty. And we see the second item was done already by Boonstra. And he's going over to a third item. I think on hit is definitely the way to go here, considering all the beef coming out for the side of Freebrax. We have Winter's Approach done and almost evolved here by Big B. Yeah, Rusty, your pet got that. We see, I think there's a lot of commitment by Ares to just pull everybody into the backline. He's gotten a lot of really good ults off and kind of died for it, but he absorbed so much cooldowns and did so much damage that the rest of his team could fight the 4v5 afterwards. Well, in that case, it was a 4v4. So, while I don't think Yone was the best pick for that slot, Ares playing it quite well. If you look at his scoreline, you would think he was actually getting like a little gapped here, but he is not at all. Like, Ares playing this game super well. Both two tanks in the river just saying what's up to each other. We like that. Yeah, Varus is not a pick we see that often here. I think he still has a really positive win rate. Oh, but nice job by Tim to kind of pull Camille back. The taunt's going to come out here. Let's see if the Camille ult does come down. Ares ends up missing the ult here, and there's a shutdown going over to Hunky from Tim. So Tim played that very well, but it's just so much beef stats coming out of the side of Hunky and Big B that he still ends up falling here. And then it looks like we see the side of Freebrax going after this Baron here. Or at least posturing for it. Yeah, it looks like they're starting up this Baron. And we've seen Rusty in these situations time and time again. Let's see if he can actually steal this for the side of Scorch. Because I think if they get Baron here, this would be an absolute insane. Oh, but it looks like Freebrax is just going to let it go. They don't want to take the chance. I've seen Rusty do this before. Lord knows I have. And just ends up backing off. Interesting run animation by Varus. I can't say I've seen that one. You revealed 2 wards with that Scuttle Crab, but you didn't take him out, Hunky. That's interesting. We have an Infernal Drake coming up here in about 45 seconds here. And gold lead is about even. Yeah, gold is even. Kills are even. 3 dragons in favor of Scorch here. 6 grubs on the side of Freebrax here. So let's see how this team fight goes, because I think this is the team fight that actually determines the game. Because any more after this, I feel like oh, but Ares is going to end up getting ulted here, and he gets out, but he turns back around and ults here, and we got Rusty on the back line. Tim ends up getting taken out by the Camille Warwick combo here. But Boonstra's doing a good job of return firing here. And we see Freebrax going after this dragon. Now Hunky's going to back, but Hunky's got TP. So you've got Camille on full health here. Coming back. The blue team gets the dragon super fast here. And now it looks like they're turning back around. As Nami doesn't have ult. Rusty ends up getting taken out here. Bubble coming out by Calico, but it's not enough, and a shutdown going over to Kellen. There's just so much that this Freebrax team can throw at Scorch. It's just impossible to keep track of. I'm having a hard time keeping track of it. And with Rusty being down, there's a Baron going over to the side of Freebrax here. You see, Tim's up. He's going to have ult here soon. A shutdown going over to Kellen, so Baron off 1 here. Let's see if they continue the chase potentially. No, they might. Ares runs into Big B here. The rest of his team's coming up here real soon. And Big B ends up getting out. Big B with that Warden's Mail putting in a lot of work right there against Rusty. So all in all, that ends up being a 2,000 gold exchange going over here. But Ares may get caught out again, and Tim might try to come out and help him. Big ult coming down for Big B. But that's a big cooldown for the most part getting used for 1 kill. It's a minute cooldown, so actually not as long as I thought it was. The tank items do have quite a bit of CDR built into them. Oh, his Vayne damage is starting to ramp up. That's Terminus completed by Vayne too. Actually, we have identical builds coming out of the 80 carries. Just now noticed that, actually. Scorch doing a really good job saving this turret here. This turret is still got about 20% of its health left. So Baron should be done. It's about 75% of the way done for the side of Freebrax. So it looks like Freebrax is going to probably have to take another Baron and maybe win another dragon fight to really break the stalemate that Scorch is holding on to right now. See Deathcap coming out by Tim. While I know he got super far ahead and had some really big shockwaves, I think if this Storm Surge was any type of pen item, say I'll avoid Leandry's Crypt Bloom, I feel like he's in a slightly better position in this game. But there is, outside of Big B, there's not much armor getting built. I think fully upgraded Terminus has enough MR that it negates pen quite heavily. You almost wish you had Void Crypt Bloom. So, yeah. I think the Storm Surge is going to start feeling really bad here soon. Oh, but we see a Squirrel ends up getting blown up. And that's the one champion that has 0 MR. So there's a boatload of damage coming out from the Storm Surge Deathcap Orianna. And notice he has Blighted Jewel, so he's going towards this pen item. And we see Big B. Big B ends up getting stopped here. And Calico with the big humongous bubble here. They end up taking out Big B. Oh, big mistake there by Big B to try and E away. That's got blocked by Rusty Crow. Now we have Scorch putting Freebrax on the back foot here. And Big B will not be up in time for this dragon. This dragon just came up. So this may end up being soul point here for the side of Scorch. Freebrax is coming to check on it, but they're a little too late here. So soul point, Infernal Soul coming out of Scorch off of a pick and a mistake for the side of Team Freebrax here. So Infernal Drake, that's I believe 10 or 12% increased AP. You've got Deathcap on top of that, Blighted Jewel coming out, so either Void or Crypt Bloom is going to be shortly followed. I think this Orianna's now at the point where she's doing some respectable damage here. And definitely if it catches Deeg or Squirrel out, can one-shot. Deeg, though, going for this Jack Show, which alongside with the Terminus is going to be able to make him very, very tanky. And we see Ares is still behind a little bit. Hunky's on 4 items. Ares barely done with 3. After this next back. You have 3 items completed on Big B here. You have full Jack Show. These 80 carries are just mimicking each other builds. You got Vayne and Vayne Jr. at this point. Pens, thanks for joining us, bub. This is game 3 here of Freebrax on blue side and Scorch on the red side. Scorch ended up taking game 1 in what I would consider probably the best draft flex of the split so far. And Freebrax ended up just picking a boatload of engage game 2. And if it ain't broke, make it better. So, Rusty ends up getting a little bit of poke coming out here. You have Ares TPing in, but this leaves a 6 grub Camille for this bot lane here. So I think Camille's going to end up getting this turret after it's all said and done. I think Tang's going to collect his bot wave now. Tang going for the full Void Staff here, so after a wave or 2 in this bot lane, he's going to have full Void. We'll have TP for this incoming Baron fight here. But we had a massive pick for the side of Scorch to end up getting this soul point here. And the gold lead's still favoring Freebrax, but there's a lot of stats coming from Dragons on the side of Scorch. Not to note that this Terminus that's going to get upgraded, or that's going to double dip in the defensive stats on Jack Show, is going to get modified even more with this single Earth Drake that they've got here. So a lot of tank stats coming from this Varus. You see a Immortal Shieldbow coming out by Ares here, so he's going to hopefully stay alive just a little bit longer after this engage here. So I absolutely love the Abyssal Mask coming out of Rusty Crew here, knowing that Boonstra's going to have quite a bit of magic damage coming out. Tim's going to have a boatload of magic damage coming out. That this Abyssal Mask is going to lower MR and definitely make them feel this Orianna Shockwave. Though I think with Abyssal Mask, you're going to want to go Crit Bloom here, just because the loss in percentage pen between Crit Bloom and Void kind of gets negated. You don't feel that loss with Abyssal Mask coming out. So, I don't know the exact math, but I'm pretty sure it's close overall. But still, having a percentage pen item on Orianna is going to feel really, really good here. Misuse of double red trinkets there. And Rusty's at this point now where he can actually like face check and with Calico behind him walk into this fog of war here. Yeah, no, I think the Abyssal Mask is correct for Sejuani. I think if you look at like it at like a small mid-max difference, I think Crit Bloom... Oh my! Tim, what the hell? Warwick has 0 MR, and I actually think that popped Hysterics there. No, it didn't. It would show up on cooldown in the Spectator. But I think if he ults there, he pops Hysterics. But now we're seeing a fight going to break out for this Elder Dragon, and I believe this is going to be the game-ending fight. All in all, you have Big B, who just got 4th item here, got the Rift Maker, and TP's mid. I think you need to double back and escort Boonstra into this chokehold a little bit, because he's going to get flanked here. He got there just safely. I thought Camille had an angle to jump on him. So we see some of the Infernal Soul Poke coming out here a little bit. So Scorch, this is where I think their team definitely needs to stay together. If any of them get lost here, it's easy bait for Camille. So zoom out here to watch this. Big engage coming in by Rel, followed up by a really big engage out of Big B here. But Tim has a really solid ult on the other side, and Boonstra doing everything he can to try and save. Big bubble coming out of Calico, but Deeg ends up being untouched in this fight. And that could be Elder Drake going over to the side of Freebrax here, as they just dropped all priority on this Elder, and they're going for the win. Massive, massive engage coming out of Squirrel here. Got 20 seconds on the rest of the team here. Let's see what they can do. Potentially there's a bubble coming out here, delays them just a little bit. You got them going after Calico in the back here with Big B. Turret ends up taking out Squirrel here. And all in all, Hunky ends up going to the other side and taking out the Nexus. So Freebrax takes the series on a massive, massive engage by Squirrel here to set up that Elder team fight. What an insane comp by Freebrax, as just insanely, it's so explosive. So much engage. And Freebrax takes the series here, 2-1 over Scorch, which puts them in the running here for Group A's playoff spots. And actually, that moves them to 2-2 and moves Scorch to 2-2. So now Freebrax actually has the 3rd seed for Group A as of this moment here. We don't know the results yet of Insane Banana Coin Flip. That's over on the Twitch stream right now, being casted by Arpies. So, don't know the results of that yet, but let's end up let's end up looking at the details here if we can. An absolute, an insane game coming out by the carries here. They just overall, I don't think Scorch had the tank stats though to really push that engage away here. But they played so well, and getting the soul points after a couple of those fights didn't go their way was absolutely insane. But Freebrax, man, I can't say enough about this team. We played them early in the season, and it was an absolute very, very well played, competitive series between both of us. But they ended up taking the series off of us, and I've just seen nothing but improvement from this team, especially this wombo combo comp where you just set it up for Galio. It's absolute insanity. So, congrats to Freebrax on their series here. And that'll put them in prime position to make the playoffs here, and overall make Group A just insane hard to predict, as they have coin flip the top team in the group next week, and Scorch has Tom Kitsch Gamers. So, well played, the Freebrax. Absolute well played there. That was an absolute fun game to watch. So, it's a little late. I'm going to pass on the interviews, which actually looks like all of Freebrax left their channels here. So, I do got work in the morning, so I'm going to let them just enjoy their victory here. And, yeah, I see Kellen in the chat. Dude, you guys played insane those back 2 games, man. The Warwick was crazy by you. Squirrel on the Rel had some insane engages, especially that last one. And, man, that dive bomb comp that you guys kind of brought back it was really fun to watch. So hats off to you guys, man. You guys have done nothing but improve. All split here, and making Group A super interesting here. So congrats again, boys. And I'm going to end up signing off here. Go over to the Twitch channel and enjoy the rest of that series here, which it looks like it might be wrapping up here soon. And we'll see you next time as we have a few more games left here. I know one confirmed is Caster Curse TK will be Monday night. Not sure who's casting that, but I'm pretty confident it will get casted. And we got a few other Group C games that need to get played. And then Wednesday, new season, new patch. It's going to make Week 5 absolutely insane to watch. So, all in all, hope everybody had a great holidays. Hopefully the travel was safe. And, we start back to reality this week. Peace.